Hello, welcome to another video on the Scouring Early Access. Today's match is going to be a 2 versus 2 match between me, the Birthday Gamer, and my ally, Indiana Jones, against Part-Timer and Tatanka. Now here, I do spawn as a red orc player, and I just decided to do a fast, or just usual warrior build order. 2 workers on the barracks, the rest on gold, and I guess going to a relatively fast logging camp. That way I have all the wood to maybe make a forge, whenever barracks, or even a tier 2 a little faster. And over here, my orange ally, Indiana Jones. Looks like he's did a fast barracks into 2 farms. So he's going to be having a good amount of swordsmen. Now here on the enemy side, the white player playing as orcs is Tatanka. Looks like he's doing a similar build order to me. Relatively quick barracks, or the warriors. The relatively fast logging camp. And over here, the last enemy, Part-Timer, playing as a black humans. Looks like he's going for a very fast dwarf build order. Just make it fast, maybe. Pretty quick dwarven tavern and a single farm. That way you can start making all the dwarves. And of course, this is a relatively big map, so I could have went for wyverns, but I decided not to do it eventually. But in the meantime, of course, I start munching on these wolves. On the other side of the map, the white player does the same. Over here we can see orange. It's coming to help us out. And even the black player was very suspicious of me trying to do all the wyvern spires, but it does require more of a second base to do effectively. So that's what I didn't really get to make them. But you can see here, I'm clearing neutrals pretty quickly. So does a white player. And here, orange. I guess a lot of these archers have decided to run home. In the meantime, I'm getting a tier 2 to get a forge. That way I can get a cannon or 2 to defend myself a little easier, because I'm at the front. So that'll be very useful. And here I do see my enemy here, but I do see that I can just kill this straw right now, so that is exactly what I'm gonna do. So I get a bit of gold. I lose a single warrior, and I do get to use my micro to save this other warrior. In the meantime, you can see the white player is coming to attack the orange player, and of course white didn't get to kill this whole camp, so he's gonna have a higher level army. So my ally just has a level 1 swordsman. And so the enemies do have a small levels advantage. And here I got some potions. Made another potion crate for my ally. And here the enemies begin to try annoy us a little bit. So that is why I got cannon being produced here. That we can just push back these filthy dwarves. So I wouldn't have to deal with these annoying enemies. So we can see here, we didn't get to push away a lot of units. Thanks to us having a lot of these cannons. And of course this very cheeky ballista, and then managed to survive long enough to be installed on this guard tower. But this is where we're gonna see where I decide to make a muncher cave instead of a spire on a tier 2. And I saw that we're kind of being besieged here. Can't really get outside our base to get any expansions. So this was my best plan. Try and get some munchers with some rage. That way we can break out of here to potentially secure another base. But of course, in the meantime, you can see the white bear is already enjoying his expansion. Good amount of workers. He has a tier 2. But not much else going for him. You can see the black bear has a tier 2. Make him ballista. I guess a few dwarfs. I guess he did forget a few potions here. Which is a bit of a mistake. And over here, I didn't get to go around here below these little trees. And I got to go around here, but of course, this was a bit of a mistake. And I just get to feed the enemy a whole lot of gold and a lot of potions by losing, I guess, around 6 warriors for nothing. And so I can see here, our position looks extremely terrible. I just have a handful of warriors, 2 cannons. My ally is a handful of swordsmen. Here's a tier 2. It's getting a few cannons, but of course, we are all stuck on one base. So I do decide to get a tier 3. And then I begin a very slow muncher production. So I can see here, the black bear is more making a lot of army, a lot of cannons. You make potions at the front. I guess the white bear decided to get a second base, another barracks, and go more of a macro, I guess, build or style of play. Because we are kind of stuck here. Can't really get out because our army is very small. And if we go outside of our base right now to try and fight this, then we're just gonna die. So we didn't really have much of a choice but to sit here and wait for a tier 3. That way I can get an altar and then eventually get the rage ability. And over here I can see even the black bears making a few guard towers. So he put his cannons here, or RV units. I do reinforce the idea to my ally to just hold this position here. Because attacking right now is going to be a very big mistake. But my ally does have a lot of potions on this swordsman. Even if they are all of one mostly. So here I'm getting an altar. And I'm just slowly making a few munchers. So at this point you can see the enemy, a very big army, a lot of dwarves, can block out of range damage, and they can even snipe my munchers. So that's why we are kind of sitting back at our own base. And here, the white player does a sneaky attack. And black tries to distract us here. But eventually we do just have a bit more units here, so the enemies do eventually retreat. So black player still making dwarves, a few cannons. Kind of chopped all this wood, so he's having trouble getting some wood here. The white player decides to get another base. So 3 base now. There's all the archers. There's a tier 2 on his other base, but for some reason it's not really thinking I'm getting a tier 3 or a forge, which is a little strange. Over here my ally has a lot of cannons, taking his artillery on to push back the enemy cannons, and of course these guard towers as well. And pretty much right now I'm getting very ready to try and break out of this besiege mode. Just have a few warriors, some potions, and all the munchers, a lot of potions as well. You can see here our ballistas are almost destroyed, so this is right by a good time to try and attack. So here I send in my ally, or tell him to go first, because of course he's going to be blocking most of this ranged damage from all these archers and these dwarves. And I also send in my own warriors here, but instead of losing all my punchers, I just rage it all my units and my allies' units with rage. And I just let my munchers stay back. That way they're not going to be target fired by all these ranged units. So this way we're able to push back the enemy and kind of cut off half of their army here. At this point we just have all the cannons and a good amount of munchers. Now here the enemies try to run, but of course we do just surround them and just take care of their pesky dwarves. And of course his ally, the white player, does let him just die here. Of course here we do push our cannons forward to try and push back the enemy. You can see here, enemies don't really have much of an army left. It's a handful of dwarves, a few warriors, and we kind of don't have much ourselves. But we do have cannons. They're going to be very useful at pushing back all these workers. And over here, of course, I start an expansion because my main base is going to be running out very shortly. I guess the enemy targeted my muncher, but now my ally has all the swordsmen and all the cannons, so the enemies are going to be having a hard time doing much here. But they do get to target fire most of the cannons here. So orange should have pushed them back out a bit, but they do eventually trade their units and their workers to try and defend this base. And here I'm just producing munchers to reinforce my expansion. In the meantime, now here black even made an expansion. Over the warping terrain. So he mostly is going to have all the dwarves. Maybe a handful of cannons. So over here you can see we're just pushing back these pesky goblin archers with our cannons. Destroy this tier 2 base. And pretty much at this point, there's no need to break this barracks. So I do decide to retreat a little bit here. So at this point, we have all the munchers. We have rage, all the cannons here. And the white player is having fun with all these skeletons. Even his main base is getting munched away. He doesn't have a tier 3 yet. Oh, he has a forge. Black is only on tier 2. So our enemies are kind of stuck on tier 2. And we just have a small advantage thanks to our angry munchers. And over here, the bike player tried to do an attack, but of course, probably didn't realize I had a double barracks production. So now I have a huge amount of munchers now. You can see here, kind of lost his own army. And now he's going to be losing all of these workers. And pretty much the rest of his buildings here as well. And of course I do have a pillage, so I'm getting a whole lot of gold by breaking all these buildings, which I can use to just produce even more munchers. Of course my ally has a huge army, all the cannons, all the swordsmen. Black lost his whole army, so he surrenders. And white has a lot of archers, a handful of warriors, but no tier 3. I'm not even sure if he has shields on his warriors, so he eventually does decide to surrender because we just have a too great of an advantage at this point. And there you have it. That's pretty much it. See your results. You can see here, most of the players here were just on one base for most of the game. I get my expansion, similar time as the black player. But you can see here the white player had about 10,000 more gold. But I'm not really sure into what he invested all the gold, maybe all of these units, all the archers, all the warriors. But I guess he didn't really get to tier 3 to get all of those very powerful units. Anyways, if you liked the video, you can leave a like, leave a comment. If you want to see more videos on the Scouring Early Access, then you can subscribe. Thanks for watching, and goodbye.